Oh, hello. Yeah, well, it's the weekend. Maybe you could go out to the market, eh? Yeah. Go and see the blokes on the barrow down the market, you know what I mean? Get some nanas, maybe. Yeah, no doubt they'll insist that they're doing themselves. I mean, how does he do it? How does he do it at a price, eh? I don't know. How's he do it? Yeah, all that stuff, all that EastEnders rubbish. Anyway, yes. Talking of such nonsense, oh, good grief, we had lots of nonsense about markets. I did love this in the Daily Telegraph yesterday. Lord Frost, that's David Frost to you and me, probably. I'm resigning the Tory whip to make the case for markets. Yeah, cutting off his nose to spite his face, innee? Yeah, them prices. Yes, indeed. Why, you might ask? Well, let's dive in. The IEA spearheaded the Thatcher reforms Britain needs as radical change today, and that is why I'm proud to take the think tank's helm. Yes, he'll be steering them through those stormy waters. Might come on to stormy waters in just a bit, but yes, and I was thinking to myself, well, that certainly isn't a case of revolving door things. But you might ask, well, why exactly is he resigning? Well, he has to resign because we have to play a silly game, and we have to play a stupid game whereby you have to believe, for example, that the bloke in down the market is going to sell you bananas at a cost which really is going to mean that he's out of pocket. In the same way that we have to assume the same thing with Lord David Frost. Yes, he has to resign because the IEA, you see, is an independent think tank, and as such they can't have party members at the helm. It would make them look biased. Anyway, let's go and have a quick look at his actual rationale for why he's doing this, because it's worthwhile thinking about this and then applying it to the IEA. So we get this. My politics are very simple. Yes, we noticed over the whole Brexit thing, but anyway, I believe in the nation state. Well, so do I live in one. I believe Britain must rebuild its identity. Yeah, because I also want to know exactly what Britain means. I've no idea. It's state machinery, whatever that means, and it's civil society. Well, I don't know, I live in it. And I believe that we must aspire to run this country with as small a state, in as free market a way, and with as much personal freedom as we possibly can. Yes, which is where we definitely get into the realms of fantasy, you see, because, well, you see, I don't know if Lord David Frost doesn't know this, or he's pretending not to know this, or a mixture of both. But you see, free markets work only on the basis of free information. Now, if I am going to, for example, take on board all the delightful, delicious and lovely things that the IEA are going to produce under Lord David Frost, I have to remain, well, I have to believe that, you know, they are being produced in good faith, that the information they have will furnish me with information that I require to operate as a free market player. You know, with that kind of hands-off state thing, that small state thing, you know, that free market thing that we need to do. We need honest, true information. But the problem, of course, with the IEA is, well, you don't get any of that, do you? Because, of course, the IEA won't tell you who its funders are at all. They were supposed to do that some stage or other in the last few years, and probably, if you want to go back historically, this stuff kind of brew up in about 2017, because they are actually a charity. Yes, indeed, they have that as a tax dodge, perk. Sorry, not dodge. Obviously, that would be wrong of me to say that, but it's a little bit iffy. And the idea is, you see, that they are there simply to educate us about all the great things about markets, or something anyway. Yes, but you see, if I don't know that, you know, they're being funded by just very, very, very ordinary people, just like me, you know, just ordinary Joes, possibly slightly richer than me, granted, but just ordinary people like, you know, Lord David Frost and other potential lords, just ordinary lords, presumably. Yeah, I have to believe, you see, that they aren't, you know, going to take funding from people just to produce tosh. And the problem the IEA have, and the problem I have with the IEA, and the problem that David Frost doesn't necessarily want to admit, and he never will, and none of them do, is of course that, well, they do take an awful lot of money from rich people to produce tosh to try and persuade the simple-minded, you know, people with simple politics like David Frost, that in fact, let's say that tax cuts for rich people are a very, very, very good idea, and the minimum wage is really bad, and, you know, insert any other kind of right-wing trope you want here. We will see about that, but my guess is that we'll carry on playing that stupid game. It's the same stupid game whereby you see those political commentators on GB News or Talk TV, and they're just political commentators, even though when you look them up on LinkedIn, they appear to be linked with, I don't know, let's say the Advance Party, or I don't know, let's say yet another group in Tufton Street that has some dodgy money. You know, I definitely won't mention the New Culture Forum and the dodgy money that they've never ever addressed whatsoever, because that would be wrong of me again. Yes, it would be nice to see the Charity Commission actually giving them a bit of a kicking, but oddly enough I don't think it's going to happen, because then we'd have to ask awkward questions about the others, wouldn't we? Yes, just you see, I have to do a bit of balance thing, but after all, we do need to worry about certain other people, like the Tony Blair Foundation, which has got its tentacles into our government in enormously large numbers of ways that they themselves won't admit. There you go, there's a bit of balance for you. Ooh. And speaking of which, it would be nice just to sort of address a particular one, because sometimes people say, oh, well, you have a go about Gaza and about genocide there. What about the Sudan? Yes, it would be nice for the British government to give the UEA a bit of a kicking over their support for what amounts to genocide that's currently going on in Sudan. But of course our government won't do that, because to do that they would have to upset the Americans, and we mustn't upset the Americans. You see, this actual mass killing of civilians could stop tomorrow, because Donald Trump could say, no mate, you're not going to do it. But Donald Trump doesn't really care about the people of the Sudan, because, well, you can make up your own mind about why that is. Yes, you see, some lives are very, very, very important. And in David Frost's world, and in, Keir Starmer's world, and in Donald Trump's world, and indeed the UAE world, well, I don't think that yours and mine realistically are. There are some important people, and then there's everyone else. And the everyone else's, unfortunately, can seriously drift off into nothingness. Such is the nature of the bold new dynamic social order that we live in. Oh, good, yes, the New World Order. I've heard that one before. Anyway, do have a lovely one if you can do. There's a link down below to stuff about the Sudan.